For racing fans in Canada, the exciting highlight of the season is the Players 200 race at Mosport, bringing drivers and cars of international caliber to compete for the Players Cup and $10,000 in
Racetracks used to be built with the land, not on top of it.
The race marshals around the track have a heavy responsibility. Their quick actions can prevent unnecessary pileups.
They used to flow. They used to demand respect and bravery. Some racetracks have withstood the test of time, despite changing attitudes on safety and design.
The ticket sellers, the night's work is just beginning. Right through the night, race fans from hundreds of miles around journey to Mosport Park to set up camp, to meet old friends from last year, and to make this race meeting into the most memorable
Since
one of the year.
1961, this stretch of asphalt has remained largely unchanged. If this pavement could speak, the stories it would tell. This is the first permanent motor racing facility in Canada, and they call it Mosport.
On the road to the Area Truck Series Championship, there are a whole bunch of corners, and so far this season, most of them have been lefts. With a select few of right-handers in upstate New York, we now head north of the U.S. border into Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, and to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. This track, known as Mosport, hosts our 10th round of the Area Truck Series season. Delighted to be with you tonight. Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn. Connor, welcome aboard our second and final road race for the Area Truck Series. This one is a challenge, and this one could spark some fires that might not go out until the end of the championship.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on right now, and it might get sparked up as we come towards championship competition time, I would say. There's obviously a lot of drivers who have stuck out this season, most notably James Skyerly, who's at the top of the leaderboard right now. What a surprise. But there's still so many drivers in this truck series that are capable of winning tonight, even with Skyerly, as a matter of fact. But there's still a lot that can go down towards this championship chase as we get closer and closer to the end of the regular season.
This racetrack, built in 1961, about 2.5 miles in length. We will do 45 laps tonight, and that means we will do just about 450 corners. Moss Corner, named after Sterling Moss, who suggested the turn be changed in 1961. It originally was just a hairpin and then changed to a two-stage corner to make it what it is today. Here's a look at the points coming into the night. James Scioli locked with 3 wins on top of the board. Everyone else still fighting for spots. Eric Wineland, Danny Ware, the 2 on the bubble right now. Dustin Scruggs, Justin Munsell, and Michael Curhan. Based on his performance in the Cup race last night, could he be a wild card to win this race and lock himself into the playoffs?
Definitely could be someone we see get close to the front. He was probably the closest, other than Jake Nichols, it's probably the closest we've seen anyone get to Scioli at the road courses, but he's only 6th on the leaderboard right now. Completely different track from Road America. I don't see many similarities apart from maybe the long straightaway, but he's definitely going to need to make up some points tonight. The bubble, as you said, got way more spread out after the results of that wild Atlanta finish. Wineland 17 points above the cut line to Danny Ware, and then Munsell, kind of surprised to see him down there. Curhan, as you noted, and JT Poole, who finished second last Tuesday night, excuse me. Big points, but that win could have changed so much for him. Look at him, 17th in points.
Yeah, you're right. Not a lot of similarities between Road America and Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but the 2 things that they do share, the road courses, and they do have some heavy braking zones, and maybe that's something that Curhan can set himself apart with and try to charge his way forward. Qualifying is underway here in just a moment's time. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel for only $5 a month. You can watch all area broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat and earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise at twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Cars on the racetrack and heading down to get qualified, and with 3 wins on the season, Scioli was already a favorite, but especially so at a road course, he will be tough to beat.
Yeah, definitely going to be the guy to beat. The initial start's going to be really important for him to either get away or for whoever qualifies second and third to try to take a stab at getting the position done. It's going to be very important for Scioli to get away cleanly, because you never know what could happen at most sport. We've seen contact a lot here at this track when the Truck Series did come here. I always forget they don't go here anymore, which is a shame, but this car track combo always puts on a show.
And Alan Elwood in the number 10, another driver to keep our eye on tonight. New livery, the Simrat Market colors on that number 10, so we'll keep our eyes on him. David Weishart is here again. We also already pointed out Michael Curhan as a potential threat to win this race. He is just getting rolling right now, and he says he's not ambi turner, can't turn right. Well, he's already made it a right-hander down through turn 1, but we'll see how he does as he gets warmed up and gets up to pace here for this 2.5-mile lap. This is a fast racetrack, even in a stock car or stock truck, I suppose. You're carrying a lot of speed and a lot of momentum, and it's very easy to make a mistake and slide laterally off course. Not as much camber and banking as you got at a place like Watkins Glen, but it still does have that high speed, high velocity characteristic.
Yeah, you're just, excuse me, definitely a lot of high-speed corners. Even turn 1, insanely high speed for the type of corner it is. It's hard to nail down. You see Ryan Swan had a little bit of a trouble through there, really slid the tires and got up on the curb big time. And then this second turn is really tough too, because if you go offline at any point through that corner, you're in the grass, and there is no saving you once you're out there.
No, definitely not. If you go out into the grass, it is pretty much day over. You might as well pack it up on your way to the wall. It is just absolutely challenging. Ricky Harden's going to give us a very unique perspective today. He's going to get the pedal cam set up for us, and we can watch the Pizza Socks get to work here as he slows down. He's working his way towards turn 3, and always interesting to watch the braking and the blipping on the downshift to get these things slowed down. Not a lot of brakes on these trucks. You can see him sawing at the wheel as well. Smooth is fast around here, but sometimes you got to get physical with it.
This is one of those corners here downhill. You can make up so much time here into this part of the racetrack, downhill into a sort of an uphill right-hander. The rear of the truck will get out from under you if you're carrying too much speed, but he's able to do a great job getting through there, and really good job making those apexes on to this long straightaway.
So James Scioli across the stripe at a 1:21.6. That's going to be a nice solid lap. JT Poole second place. That's a pretty solid lap as well. Here comes Curhan down into Moss Corner, trying to get the thing slowed up. Anna Sogak up to third place. Garrett Grant, Dustin Scruggs. Be important tonight for him to run well, as he's below that cut line for the playoffs. He runs 5th.
Nobly for these guys. You do get 2 laps. If you want to use both laps, you can do that. So we'll see if that happens tonight, as we see Wineland, who's on that playoff cut line, trying to go down trying to go up this straightaway, a little uphill there that kind of throws off your braking balance into this sort of double right, longer double right than what we saw at the bottom of this straightaway. And then these corners made famous for however many Truck Series races finished with contact into these final 2 corners. But you see Wineland taking a pretty wide entrance there to get a straight exit. He does a good job doing that.
Those last 2 corners, they just beg you for chaos every single time we're here. It doesn't matter what we're in, whether it's trucks, MX-5s, Porsches, that corner draws absolute pandemonium. This was the finale racetrack for the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada this year, and there was plenty of drama afoot in that race, and maybe some on display here as well tonight. Travis Beckner, potentially another driver to watch. He had a tough race last night, but battled back through it, and maybe he's one to watch here.
Let's see what this time is. We'll see if he's one to watch, judging by his time, as he actually did go fastest in... Did he go fastest in practice? He did go fastest in practice. He was above Skyler, so we'll see what type of time he can put down here. 21.793. Not bad. It won't be pole, unless he can do something on lap 2. It's good enough for 4th.
Yep. So, a little bit of a slip there at the exit of turn 1, and then this downhill left through turn 2. You mentioned how dangerous it is to get to the grass. But if you do that line right, you're not going to be next to the grass for very long. Then into turn 3, this is the right-hander here. Oh, a little bit of a slip, but he gathers it up.
And gather it up, you can see it's probably not going to be a fast time with how much he's sliding the tires. That's another corner where you really, it's tough to wait on throttle there because you see all that room to your left. You're thinking, man, I need to get over there and throttle up, but if you throttle up too early, it's another part of the track where if you're off track, you're not coming back as he comes in. You hear and look at how much he's lighting the rear tires up, just trying to find any sort of grip. And that's after 1 lap. These drivers are going to have to do a number of laps on the tires to get to their fuel window tonight.
Yeah, you're likely just going to do a one-stop race tonight with it being a fairly short race. We were talking beforehand about it. It's not as short as maybe we expected it to be, but you're going to be making this a one-stop race, but you have to take care of your tires. That will be a huge conversation piece tonight. Are you maintaining your rear grip? Are you sliding those tires? Fronts, rears, doesn't seem to matter. If you beat them up, you're going to feel it. Beckner's getting physical with it now, just trying to find a little extra speed, but big drift across the stripe. It is going to be slower, I imagine, but by how much?
Oh, yeah. 2 seconds.
And that's just incredible to me.
Yeah, 1.5, 2 seconds. It is incredible, but you could visibly see where he was losing the time. It was all those slides out of almost every single corner that was losing in time. So that's something everyone's going to have to deal with. That's just after 2 laps. These drivers are going to have to do at least 22 full laps to get to their fuel window, to get to halfway and do a one-stop here, as Daniel Ware is one of the few drivers who hasn't put a time down yet. One of the 3. Him, Bronson Stafford, Philip York. He'll come across the line to complete his first lap. What does it put him? 23.9 down in 22nd.
Yeah, Stafford will not make an attempt, or at least has not so far. Ricky Harden is still on track, giving us the perspective here as he's just trying to maybe get a couple laps under his belt. He's run 4 here in qualifying, and you see him still sawing at the wheel. In the race, that driving is going to burn up your tires, so you really have to be gentle on the throttle and gentle on the brakes and just take care of your stuff. This is one of those places where you're racing the racetrack, and we're going to see a lot of drivers make their own mistakes tonight. Unforced errors will be the name of the game.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of errors, I think, down into that section. If I had to guess where we're going to see incidents occur, it's either going to be there or turn 2, so we'll just have to wait and see. But it's hard because you do have to race the racetrack, but also you don't have that many passing zones here, so you really need to capitalize on the passing zones that you really do have, like the entry to Moss Corner, which is a very aggressive braking zone, but you can make the pass there. You can make it cleanly, but Austin Cindric, as we saw a number of years ago, he did not have to make it cleanly. That was another one of those classic finishes, but they didn't even get to the final turns to see that one, as that's what we're going to be seeing the first draw, and all these drivers sliding the rears.
Cameron Hearn also engaging in a little extra practice here, and same with Danny Ware. And this is one of those nights that you can improve your own evening if you've done a little extra practice, but it has seemed clear to me that there are just some drivers that are just not road racers, and they're not looking forward to this. This is just a checkbox en route to getting to next week at IRP. Some drivers just have struggled to get comfortable here, Connor, and it's just something that you can mask a little bit with practice, but if you don't practice and you just give in, you're going to have a pretty miserable night.
Yeah, there's no road course where you can really phone it in and be fast. The closest the best road course for that is maybe Watkins Glen, because for the NASCAR layout, it's pretty high speed, not too many rough corners. So it is definitely possible to maybe get a top 15 by not practicing at a track like Watkins Glen. But any other track that's bigger than that, like this track, like even Sonoma, you can't really do that. This is one of those tracks where you have to focus a lot of attention into practicing here to make yourself go fast and, be an actual competitor. So we'll see how many drivers are going to try to compete tonight and how many are really just not going to be on their game.
Yeah, I was going to say Sonoma in particular is definitely a track you can't phone home. That's just a real technical racetrack. Now, this place is technical, but it's also fast. It kind of shares similarities of both Watkins Glen and Sonoma. And it's also got pretty gnarly curbs as well, curbs that you can't really use without upsetting the balance of the truck. So that's something that we'll have to keep our eye on tonight. So James Scioli, Alan Elwood on pole. Then it's Justin Munsell, Travis Beckner, and Michael Curhan, your top 5. I think we could have probably predicted some of that just based on the drivers' past results. But here's a quick look at the qualifying results. And you can see Scioli ahead by a tenth a lap here. That's going to be a pretty sizable advantage by the end of this race.
Yeah, then he's up by a 10th, and look at the rest of a top 5. We're only separated by half of that, so those 4 are really going to be all on top of each other in the first few laps. Track position is going to be important at a track like this, and Alan Elwood could have it over those other 3.
Yeah, and there's a quick look down through the rest of the top 20. But with that complete, qualifying is over, and Scioli and Elwood will lead us to the green with the Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup here in just a moment's time. Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code AREAiRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. So we're just moments away from taking the green flag here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Welcome back again to Sim TV. We've got a handful of drivers giving us some inside looks at their setups and their driving here tonight. We'll have JT Poole, Alan Elwood, Michael Curhan, Justin Munsell, Eric Wineland, David Weishart, and a couple more, all giving us some inside perspective with their unique driving position. So that should be a lot of fun to watch. So weather conditions also, Connor, let's talk about that here for a moment. As we head into this race, you're going to be looking squarely at the track temperature. 112 degrees right now is the track temp. That is hot, and it might get even hotter. There's just a couple clouds in the sky.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a while to come down. That was a big topic on last Thursday night with Xfinity at Atlanta with how hot it started. Everyone slipping and sliding around, but it's going to be a completely different animal here because you could slip and slide and kind of get away with it, as we saw the last 2 races that we had at Atlanta. This is not a place where you can slip and slide. You don't have runoff like at a lot of road courses these days. You have nothing. You have nowhere to hide really at most sport. Turn 1, you go wide, you're in the gravel. Turn 2, you go wide, you're in the tire barriers and a lot of grass. There's trouble either side of this road course, and there's nowhere to hide if you put a tire off into the dirt, nowhere to hide if you try to outbrake someone and go off. You have danger all around you, and making those aggressive moves is not going to be possible at 112 track temp, so you really have to pick and choose your battles very wisely.
I would say so as well. Let's roll through our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup, kicking things off on row number 1. That is James Scioli in the number 7. Alan Elwood lines up alongside him on that front row.
He's with Watkins Glen. We'll see if he could sweep Road America and Mosport. Justin Munsell going to lead off that second row. He starts 3rd place in a Raycon Toyota Tundra. Travis Beckner, another Toyota Tundra, starting alongside him in 4th.
In row number 3, it's Michael Curhan at his number 24 Ford F-150. JT Poole starts 6th in the number 26 Ford F-150 as well.
Cameron Hearn was fast last night, but wrecked out with Ryan Hartz out of turn 2. He starts 7th, trying to redeem himself alongside David Weishart, who had a good recovery last night in 8th.
9th place, row 5, it's Mason Kane in the number 31 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Eric Wineland rolls off 10th in the 21 truck.
Justin Asogak won Daytona, has gone quiet since. He starts 11th tonight alongside the 42 Ford F-150 of Garrett Grant.
13th place is A.J. Roderick in his number 56 Silverado. Dustin Scruggs trying to find his way into the playoffs. Needs some good races and needs them quick. He starts 14th in the number 22 Toyota.
A driver who did find his way to the playoffs for a win at Martinsville is the reigning champ, Brad Slaughter Jr. He starts 15th place alongside the 2 of Greg Mitchell.
And Bryce Senesac starts 17th in the 09. Ricky Harden starts 18th in the number 15 Chevrolet.
Shane Therian apparently drives on a controller. I don't know how he could do that. I tried it last night. It did not go well. He starts 19th. Dylan Lee alongside him starting 20th.
In 21st place, it is Gary Waterworth in the number 12. He'll start alongside Tom Bourne in the number 16 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro.
A lot of people might be surprised. Tom Bourne is the points leader tonight, so we'll see if Scioli can pass him. Looks likely, judging on their qualifying pace. Danny Ware starting 23rd place, Ryan Swan 24th.
And in 25th place, it's Bobby Tinch in his number 54 Chevy. Bronson Stafford starts 26th in the number 61, and Philip York going to round out the rest of the field as we get prepped to go racing here in just a moment's time, Connor. Pick me a driver to win this race. I'm liking Scioli and Elwood. Those are easy picks, though. Is there someone else that we should keep our eyes on?
I feel like aggressive driving is not going to play into it tonight, so I don't think Beckner's going to have the tire by the end of this. Give me Michael Curhan. He starts 5th. He had a lot of pace last night. Like we said, different track, but I think he has good pace tonight. I think he knows how to keep the tires on the truck, so if anyone's going to give a challenge at 7, I think it's Curhan.
I think you are right. I'm going to keep my eyes on Travis Beckner as well, though. You mentioned the aggression might hurt you, and I think you're right, but I also think that Travis Beckner, in the position where he's got a shot to win, he might be the driver I pick just based on his ability to just go for the pass. So we'll see if that will work out. Down in the Moss Corner, famous complex here. This double right-hander, 5A, 5B, and 5C, which is the kink back to the left, just leaving the corner. That is part of this course. Here's a quick look at the track map, and it all starts with a run down towards turn number 1. That's the top right of the screen here, Connor, and you're going downhill from there all the way to the bottom of turn number 2. And then you have a quick snap to the right that leads you down to Moss Corner at 5A, B, and C.
Yeah, Moss Corner is really treacherous. I've never met a corner entrance with more elevation change, I don't think. We got the corner exit at Laguna Seca. That's a very steep downhill, but this is a braking zone. It completely throws you off if you don't hit it correctly. And then after that, if you can get through there cleanly and not go too far wide to your left, you got a long uphill straightaway to deal with and a lot of time to think before your entrance to turn 8.
Yeah, turn 8 is a good passing opportunity if you can get some overlap. But then after that, 9 and 10, you documented earlier how challenging those corners can be. 45 laps, and we're going to go green from start to finish. That will leave us with about 1 hour of race time tonight. James Scioli, Alan Elwood side by side for the start of this race. The 7 elects for the inside lane, as one would expect. It's time to go racing for the final time on a road course in 2023. Season B, here we go. Green flag flies, and we're road racing in north of the border, Bowmanville, Ontario. Down into turn 1. Scioli and Elwood almost touch doors.
They did touch doors. Elwood is way off, not way off, but Beckner to take evasive action. He tried to pinch Scioli down to the corner, but 7 was not having it of it.
Big dramas in one truck wide. That was Justin Munsell getting pushed and shoved just a little bit and almost dropping a tire at the exit of turn 2. Now into 3. The 26 truck under fire, so is the 29.
Elwood's wide again. He's going to get back on track. Curhan had to slam on the brakes to avoid him. That's going to cost him a few positions there as everyone's still trying to sort out and get away from one another.
Elwood off to a very poor start in the number 10. Just does not have the grip. See the focus here as he tries to dial it in and get himself set up. First time through Moss Corner. Look at this mess side by side.
You do not want to be side by side through there, but there's about 3 or 4 rows of it, starting with Brad Slaughter and Greg Mitchell, Hardin, Lee, Senesac, Therian. They got through there cleanly, but that is dangerous time to be side by side.
Scioli breaking away 7/10 up the road as the rest of the field filters down the back straightaway. This is another trouble spot here, is turn 8. I mentioned it's a great passing opportunity. So easy to slide sideways into the driver that you're running next to, so make sure you don't do that this early in the race. Ricky Hardin all over the back of Greg Mitchell.
Oh, Therian's way wide. He's off into the barrier.
Dane Therian in the 83, a bad start already off the track.
Yeah, forward.
Yeah, and here's what happened. Oh, he just ended up wide. Ooh, that was a big hit.
Oh, yeah, it was a big hit. It seems like everyone else is, other than that single truck incident, there's definitely some beating and banging around the field, but it seems like everyone's survived for the time being, and that was a big first corner for Scioli. Kind of muscled his way clear of Alan Elwood, and it's kept him in the lead, and it's relegated Elwood all the way back to 6th.
And look who's second place. Travis Beckner, a really strong start, but can he keep the tires under him for the length of a run? That's going to be his big challenge, is trying to maintain the tire grip. As Scioli's hot into turn 5.
It's going to get Beckner all over his rear bumper. That is a mistake I don't think I've ever seen him make, but he was very lucky not to go completely off and lose the lead. But now Beckner, he sees him right in front of him.
Big opportunity here for Beckner. If you can dethrone Scioli at a road course, you've done something. Scioli goes defensive on the back straightaway, looks left, looks right. Beckner tried to outbrake him, but bailed out. But Scioli, sliding the truck around quite a bit. You can feel the desperation. He knows if he gets past early, he's going to have to use up some of his tire to get back by.
And Beckner's got to be desperate too. He knows if he doesn't really get him here after a mistake that was made, he probably is not going to get him. But you got to capitalize when someone this dominant at a road course makes mistakes like that.
Ooh, a little bit sideways into one for Scioli even that time as well. But he's making good time doing it. It wasn't an aggressive slide, just a little bit of yaw. They'll head down into turn 2. Behind them, JT Poole is being hounded by Cameron Hearn, who started this race in 7th. He's up 2 spots to 5th.
You can see these drivers going down the hill in that corner, sliding bad. Hearn is just going to let Alan Elwood back by there. He slid out of 2 and did not want to deal with it. Thought I saw someone wide out of 2. Not quite. Everyone's all good there. But you see, no one's having an easy time.
No, certainly not. Beckner reeled in Scioli the last couple of corners, but Scioli does not make the same mistake twice, and he probably won't make that mistake again. Justin Munsell, though, keeping pace with these front 2. Let's keep an eye on that 6.
Yeah, he's sneaky good at these road courses, so we'll see if he could stay up there. He is making good pace right now, but is he hurting his tires more than the top 2 doing that? He's well clear of JT Poole, who, as we were saying, might be holding a few of these guys up a little bit. Mason Kane in 7th. Solid start as Beckner closes closer to the rear bumper of the 7, just making sure he knows he's there.
So now the question...
Oh, way wide. Someone's way wide.
Alan Elwood
killed the barrier.
Alan Elwood again. You can see the disappointment and frustration on his face. He has hit that wall, and he hit it a lot, Connor. He's broken the left front suspension.
Yeah, not going to be able to get to the pits either until he lets the entire field by. And now he takes that hard right turn before Bobby Tinch comes to the scene. Still no change for the lead. That was wild. You can see just completely overdrove the entry.
Yep, and then got into the wall there. And that's where he got... It wasn't even that hard of a hit. It was just enough to break the truck. But Philip York is out as well, so Alan Elwood, the first major disconnection, and that will end his volley for a lead here tonight. But Scioli and Beckner still battling. And again, the question I was going to ask was, who's driving harder right now? Is it Scioli trying to defend, or is it Beckner on the attack with the chance to pass Scioli just ahead of him?
I think it was Scioli before his mistake, but I really think Beckner's trying harder to just get by him. He knows how important it is to get track position over someone like James Scioli, so if he can get him before they have to pit, that would be huge. His only other option would be to undercut the 7, and he wants to make sure he has track position right now. He doesn't want to have to leave it up to fuel mileage or tire wear.
I don't even know if undercutting Scioli is even a good idea, because you give him the opportunity and fresher tires, and he'll walk right by you late in the race. But lap 4 is complete. We make our way into lap 5. Battle for the lead continues. One of the closest ones on the track besides this one, Anna Sogak and AJ Roderick.
Roderick's been kind of steady so far. He's only gained the 1 position, really the only the position after Elwood went out. So just trying to chase down the 88, really just stay in touch with the 88 right now. Anna Sogak's trying to stay in touch with Garrett Grant, who's pulled away by maybe over a second at this point. Someone's wide in 2. I think that was Ricky Harden, but he keeps it on track and doesn't go way out of the way.
Ryan Swan was off at the final corner and lost a couple of spots in the process. And
whoa, Beckner just had a drift. He drifted all the way through that corner.
And Munsell tried to get around him, but he spun up the rear tires, trying to take advantage, and just like that, a second advantage for James Scioli.
I was saying, I could assure you that 28 was driving harder, and that was pretty much the proof right there. He lit up their rear tires. Now this is going to be a bad situation, because he's not going to have the rear tires at all, really, for the rest of this run. You slide them once, you're in a bad spot.
Yeah, and it's just so consequential, this place, right? Even for Scioli, he has to be careful. We saw him make a pretty rare mistake, but you don't have to push that hard to make a mistake at this track with this kind of vehicle. So I would not put it past anybody to make a catastrophic mistake, even late in this race. I saw it in the Porsche Canada Series. We could see it here tonight. Some of the best drivers in Canada at their home track threw it away late in the going. I don't see why it couldn't happen here.
Yeah, it's never over till it's over, especially at a track as I would say worn out as this. It's definitely not fresh pavement by any means, so you get that, hard old pavement plus the track temp being over 100 degrees. You're going to be sliding anytime you press that gas down. Someone like Michael Crahan would know. He slid a lot, as looks like Gary Waterworth went for a slide, as clean a slide as you could have. This was into turn 1, I believe.
Yeah, I wonder if he just drives in there a little bit too hard. Yep.
Wow.
Went around for a complete spin, actually.
Did a good job not going way wide. That could have been much worse.
Yeah, pretty harmless, all things considered. And Bryce Senesac hounding Dylan Lee and Ricky Harden.
These three are the closest on track right now, and this is all for a 15th place position right now. Harden's up 3 positions right now, trying to pull away from these guys. Dylan Lee's up 4 positions. Senesac's kind of stayed where he is, and Brad Slaughter Jr.'s well off these guys, falling back as side by side up the straightaway. Tough place to be side by side. Senesac's going to back out.
Yeah, on the outside there's a really hard line to maintain. Eric Wineland's got trouble at turn 8, and has he hit somebody or hit the wall?
Doesn't look like he hit anyone. Everyone else is going fine. He stays on the track. He stays in about 19th position. You can see the left front is a little damaged there.
Well, here is what happened to Eric Wineland. Off into, he was hot, real hot, and then likely drops a tire right there, and he's going to get the wall pretty hard, actually.
Ooh. That was a pretty big hit. Yeah, you're right, as he's going to continue, but you can see the left front's pretty messed up around right in front of the left front wheel. You can see it's kind of curled up.
And the left rear as well, probably not as critical, but how much is that going to impact the handling? I guess jury's out on that one. This is going to be survival of the fittest tonight. Just every couple laps, we're going to see somebody make a mistake somewhere, and it's only going to get, wow, you see him jump the curb there down the hill. It's only going to get worse as the run goes on and the tires get progressively worse.
Dylan Lee just got a shot from the front of Bryce Senesac. Those two were going at it the last few laps. It's almost running Senesac into the grass. I don't think he was happy about that bump in 5B.
Yeah, these two are getting physical.
I don't think it's over yet either.
I think you're right about that. Into turn 8, Senesac bails out again. Maybe trying to get Dylan Lee to overdrive. He did just slightly that time. And they're dragging in Brad Slaughter Jr. We haven't really mentioned him yet tonight as Lee goes wide in turn 9. Opens up the door for Senesac.
You go wide in 9, it completely ruins your flow for the next set. You miss turn 9, you're not making turn 10 well. It almost gave Senesac the opportunity to get to the inside, but he wasn't able to do it. And like you said, Brad Slaughter Jr. has been brought into this.
Yeah, Brad started 15th. He slid backwards in the early moments of this race, but trying to get pointed back the right direction and has a couple sparring trucks ahead of him he'd like to get back by.
Number of battles right now. Wineland's right in front of Danny Ware and Bronson Stafford. They almost made contact. Lead's still about a second. 28 of Beckner's kind of kept it that way since his big slide. Mason Kane, Michael Crahan right next to each other. Not what I expected from Crahan. Thought he'd make up a few positions, but he's actually fallen back 2 positions after he had to wait for Elwood. Wow, that was a big jump. Stafford spins Wineland out.
Yeah, just got up on the curb and looped him, and through goes Ryan Swan. But yeah, this one was coming from a little ways back. Watch Bronson Stafford here. See Wineland slip, and then in the brakes here, the 61 not quite to the inside, just got up on the curb and tags him around.
That's about, these curbs aren't really known for being that troublesome either. That's about as hard as I've ever seen anyone jump a curb here, as we see Dylan Lee. He's been passed by Bryce Senesac. Now he's being hounded by Brad Slaughter Jr. Even got a tap there out of the corner.
Yeah, the curbing here is huge. And the reason why it's not usually a problem is because you usually don't ride it here. But if you hit the blunt end of the curb, especially at 5, it can really launch you and send you for a ride. So that's what happened there. Is 25 trying to hold off Brad Slaughter Jr. Rides pretty close to the edge of the road here. Big moment for Lee. But he's hanging on to it, defending with all he's got.
This is what 16th place means to these guys. Every spot matters. Slaughter doesn't need to win. Dylan Lee needs good runs and probably a win to make the playoffs, but he's doing a good job defending right now on the 8.
And just ahead of them, a little bit of a scrum here. AJ Roderick, Justin Scruggs, And then Hardin and Senesac.
We call it a scrug.
Brett Slaughter Jr.'s got a run here on the 25 of Lee.
Just on the left rear, as Roderick and Scruggs are also side by side up in the 8. As two battles going on at the same time. That one sorts itself out before the corner. See if this one does. I think it will have to be subsided for now.
Yeah, Beckner's lost another half a second to Scioli with pressure from behind from Justin Munsell. They've lost some ground, and then just behind JT Poole and Cameron Hearn. JT's rocking the Formula Wheel tonight. Wow, look at, wow, Hearn really threw it in there. Holy cow.
He was, I don't think he was searching for the rear bumper. He just completely missed the corner. It almost took out the 26 with him. That was wild. And that's not even the best battle on track right now.
Yeah, the corners are, they have a little bit of camber and they invite you to charge them, but there's so much gravity at, and weight transfer at play that it's really easy to get it wrong. Justin Scruggs and AJ Roderick continue their fight for 11th.
Then Ricky Hardin leading 14th on back into the corner as well. As this got two separate lines of 4 right now forming. For you got one for 10th and one for 14th.
And look at that, Sogak swinging out wide on a run for Garrett Grant.
He's someone who needs to string good runs together going into the playoffs. He, got the wins at Daytona to, lock in for Truck and Xfinity, but has not been able to really have many other runs that have stuck out this season. So just looking for momentum at some point before they get to the first playoff race.
Yeah, looking for momentum at a road course is tricky, but sometimes you can find yourself in a good position. Take advantage of it.
Will be one way or the other. You're either going to look for momentum, you circle the road courses as a place you can gain momentum, or either it could also be a place where you phoned it in and look for next week instead. But definitely depends on what you feel about turning left and right.
Well, these drivers are going at it. Hardin, Senesac, Lee, Slaughter Jr. all fighting.
It is awesome right now. These two groups are all over each other, and they're not giving an inch. Garrett Grant still holding up Anna Sogak. He slid out of the corner. As Slaughter Jr., I really thought he'd get by Lee right now, but he hasn't been able to do it. And I think that's because Lee has nowhere to go because of Senesac, who's getting held up a little bit by Ricky Hart.
Yeah, we are only about halfway through this first run. Slaughter almost into the back of Lee. He might have touched him there just a little bit, but we're only halfway through this first run, and these drivers are already begging for tires right now.
Senesac put the bumper to Hardin now. He's getting physical. He hit the 25. Now he hit the 15. Sooner or later, I don't think they'll put up with that, but it keeps the 15 close up the straightaway.
Ricky Hardin. Oh, they're getting frisky.
At the weaving. Yeah. You can't be really doing that. You got a braking zone coming up. Hardin really flew it in there. He's going to miss the corner.
He's wide, and you see him correcting. He's going to keep it out of the wall, but he's going to lose a handful of spots.
Much better than losing a truck, though, so good job at least getting through it. That puts Senesac at the front of this line, and now these three are all over each other. Slaughter tried to pull out, but he has nowhere to go because Lee has nowhere to go still. Something
about road course racing in stock cars, you got to know how to crash. And I say that very literally. As soon as you get off the racetrack, you need to keep your hands straight and don't panic. Don't throw the truck or the car off course because...
Oh, Senesac's way wide. Just as you said it, he's into the barriers.
And that one is...
Oh, Tom Bourne crashed hard, too, right next to him.
He hit that wall a ton.
That's a points leader, and he's a points... Daniel Ware is wide. He hit the tire barrier. A lot of chaos just happened, and Bourne did the same thing. But, he's going to hit the inside barrier hard.
Yeah.
And this is where Daniel Ware comes in.
Oh, man. So 2 trucks, big-time damage in one incident there, and that is destroyed.
And he's the points leader, but once again, no wins. So this will drop him a little bit, and gotta hope that he gets more security maybe next week, because that thing is junk.
Yeah, that's about as torn up as you can get one of these things in the front end, at least.
Yeah, big time.
So all the while, James Scioli is expertly leading this race. He's led every lap so far. We're a long way from home, but Scioli has established himself at least a bit of a gap, but he hasn't been as much faster as I thought he would be. Does that make sense?
No, I usually expect him to be a little bit faster, considering, Cup, it's hard to separate sometimes with how the tires just don't wear. But this one, you definitely have tire wear you have to manage. He's doing it well, but not pulling out a big of a lead as I thought he would. Beckner almost had a shot at him after the mistake. Beckner, as a matter of fact, was about a 10th faster last time by, as he's pulled away from Munsell a little bit.
Well, this battle down through turn number 2 with Garrett Grant. Actually, this is now into Moss Corner here. Grant and Asogak, Roderick, Scruggs, and Mitchell, and a few others. This is a good fight.
Bronson Stafford just crashed into. He went wide. So that'll be another truck out of this race as turn 2's taken names so far today. Garrett Grant's still leading this line. As you can see, Stafford way wide on entry, and he slammed that barrier on the end of it.
Yeah, that's why they paved that in real life.
Yeah, much better, I would say.
David Weishart, we haven't talked a lot about him tonight, but a nice solid 7th place run so far. He has just been quietly lingering, and this is the kind of drive that will get you promoted up to the top 5 or top 3 just by being there.
Yeah, definitely something he's going to have to be careful of. Just keeping on track should be all he needs for a decent finish, but also going to have to defend on Mason Kane, as Kane is kind of stuck behind the 29 for a number of laps already.
This group is getting real racy back here for 9th spot. And when you're racing each other and you're not racing the racetrack, that's when you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, you lose focus of the track and start focusing on the rear bumper of someone. Sooner or later, it's going to catch you out.
Beckner off at 5, and here's what happened.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time there, but only lost 1 position.
Yep, just got a little wide at 5B, and that's common, but did a good job not throwing it into the wall after this.
Yeah, did a good job doing that. Almost looked like he hopped the curb, and that's what sent them off. Now he's going to have to defend 3rd from JT Poole, who tried looking to his right side before they got to 8, but Beckner shut the door rather quickly, as Curran and Hearn have found each other, as Luke Curran's kind of chased him down here.
Yeah, keeping our eyes on some of those that were a factor last night at Road America, and Curhan was one of those. Ooh, big moment there for Hearn on the entrance. That rumble strip on the inside of 1, that's one of the few curbs around here that's flat enough to use effectively. And you can straddle that and find a little pace. I don't think you need to drill it, but watch Hearn just slide those rear tires.
Yeah, it's fortunate for him. He's near the end of his run as Curhan really sent it in there, but Hearn's definitely feeling the effects of worn tires right now. Still decent times, but nowhere near what they could be right now as he's struggling to keep the 24 behind him, and I don't think this battle will last much longer if Curhan really shows the nose.
Yeah, got a couple good battles around the racetrack, as this time by is the 1/3 mark of this race. So if you wanted to split this race into 3 runs, you could. I don't think that you'd want to. The fall off hasn't been all that significant, about 2 seconds worth. That's some, but I don't know if you could make a 2-stop strategy work. I think you still got to do a 1.
Oh, and Asogak almost got spun. I was wondering when that bottle would pop, and it kind of did there as the 88's out. Now Roderick's offline. These guys are going at it.
Yeah, Scruggs now joins the group. 56 on the inside, Scruggs on the outside, and here comes Greg Mitchell with a head of steam. Where's he going to go?
He's going to have to stay driver's left. So easy to overdrive it when you're offline, as Roderick's going to overdrive it just to clear the 2 back and get to the rear bumper of Scruggs, as Garrett Grant had been holding the 88 and others up, and now he's got a gap to deal with here.
Well, here's what happened a moment ago. And Sogak had some connectivity problems, which probably aren't helping. They got down into 5A, 5B.
Here.
Right there, and then that's what creates that bit of contact.
That could have ruined Roderick's race if he slammed into him, but no damage done as the 88 falls off that battle. And it's now Scruggs trying to lead them back up to the 42 of Grant, who's been a good job just playing the entire track and just sitting in the middle of the track, making sure they can't pass them. It's kept them in 9th place so far.
The run down turn 2 and turn 4, both of those corners, you're just at such high load. You could probably throw 8 in this as well. You are just sticking to a rail, and if you derail, it is just a total train wreck of a lap. And you can find yourself in the wall very easily. And speaking of derailing, Dylan Lee jumps the curb there into turn 4, and now is under fire from Brad Slaughter Jr.
That is probably the scariest place to get sideways. It's like a roller coaster going that hill. I don't know how he didn't crash because he was completely sideways, but did a good job hanging on to it as Kurhan and Hearn still bumper to bumper as these two have been going at it, much like Lee and Slaughter have been going at it for almost the entire race.
Yeah, battle for a top 5 spot, so it's pretty fiercely contested here. Kurhan a bit more aggressive on the curbing through 1.
I think Kurhan, if he could pass Hearn, I think he could fight with JT Poole for 4th and maybe even get up to Beckner, but is not able to do it right now. And he hasn't really gotten close enough to have a legit challenge to Cameron Hearn, a legit look to the inside.
Eric Wineland's up there a lap down. First truck 1 lap down at the moment, but again, without yellow flags. Boot point.
It's so hard to have a look to the inside. Hearn slides there, but it's hard to have a look to the driver's right into 5 because, yeah, you have room there to the right, but it closes up quickly. It's such a fast braking zone because it's downhill and it goes back uphill for the braking zone. It happens fast. You really have no time. If you're not right on the bumper of someone going downhill, you're not going to get to that position where you can get under them without making contact.
Yeah, it's similar in some ways to Sonoma's turn 2, where you're going uphill, and because of the gravity assist, you can just get on the brakes so late. It makes that a hard sell as a passing opportunity. Dylan Lee has found himself turned around.
I wonder if they finally got together, or was this on his own? They've been battling hard.
Might have been on his own unless Slaughter gets up the inside here. No, just a little too hot and throttle up too quick.
Didn't hit anything, but there goes a position right there. But luckily, because he had such a big gap to Senesac, it is only 1 position for now as first pit stop, Greg Mitchell just pit.
Mason Kane hounding David Weissart here for position.
Let's see if that undercut works for Mitchell, but yeah, Mason Kane's kind of been surprising here. He was 7th, I believe. Weissart had gotten by him, but Mason Kane's got a new life to his tires right now. He's been chasing the 29 back down as these two are really all on their own at this point. As that was Danny Ware who went wide, but this battle still rages on.
Yeah, I'll bet you that Greg Mitchell's in a fuel window. I wouldn't pit until my tires are half old.
Yeah, I don't want to be having old tires to the end, but trying to look at where he was a part of that battle. He had fallen off Roderick Scruggs Grant, so I guess he figured because of how close he was to that battle, he pits a lap earlier, he could get them, but I just don't see that. I don't see anyone pitting until maybe 5 laps from now.
Scioli leads by 3.5 seconds, and his last lap was a little slower than Justin Munsel's, but quicker than pretty much everyone else. So Munsell trying to reel in Scioli just a touch, and that time through was just about the same pace as the leader.
Yeah, just maybe a few hundredths slower as no one comes down this time by, so Greg Mitchell's going to be on an island. As you see these battles starting to widen out maybe a little bit. Garrett Grant is still right in front of Scruggs and Roderick, and Stogak is chasing those guys back down. Battle for 2nd, really battle for 3rd, maybe heating up a little bit. Grant's fallen off of Cameron Hearn, and Cameron Hearn has been chasing down JT Poole.
Ricky Hardin and Greg Mitchell going at it. Greg on fresh tires, and he'll easily win that fight.
Brad Slaughter pit.
I'm a little surprised to see these early stops. Missed his pit box there. Very small and narrow boxes, and you see him having to take 2 attempts at it to get it lined up.
Gonna kill his time. He's gonna kill any time he would have gained on new tires, really, as Ryan Swan goes a lap down to Scioli. Yeah, it is surprising. This is about 3-4 laps before I think you would hit. In the 2 pit, maybe 5 laps before that. It is a little bit surprising. Kurhan has refound, I guess, the back bumper of Cameron Hearn as JT Poole is kind of starting to hold these guys up. Wow, he's sliding the rears.
Cameron Hearn pushing the issue. And Michael Kurhan making sure that he has got the pressure applied nice and consistently. Now the other question is, we could be pushing the longer end of a fuel window here. I'd imagine we are now. So is this pitting out of necessity? Your 2 laps of saving wouldn't have been all that hard to do here with all the downhill we've got. So I just have to imagine that you'd be saving fuel to make that 1 stop easy.
It's definitely possible, but it's much harder to pick up fuel saving at a road course, especially at this road course. Wow, Curran's really sliding. But it's possible that these drivers are doing that. It's really the obvious choice. Pitting twice at a road course is tough to do. Wineland just spun in the 5. Somehow saved that. I thought that was going to be a crash right in front of 4th, 5th, and 6th, but he did a good job.
Yeah, that
Wineland's
was
saying on the radio he's going to be sad if it doesn't make the broadcast highlight, so we'll get your highlight in right here.
Yeah, well, not even a spin, more of a drift.
6 out of 10, Eric.
We'll give it to him.
We'll give him something.
Not
He's gonna
exactly
let the leaders
Formula D.
He's hoping he's on the highlights. All these leaders that he's letting by now are like, please don't do that again. Really going to hold up Hearn here and really give Curran a shot to do a crossover out of a final corner.
Good battle here, and it's all behind JT Poole as Wineland tries to recover slightly. As here comes Weishart on down pit lane, lap 21. But a huge percentage of the field, about 60 to 70% of them, have not come down yet, and you only have to go another lap to effectively make halfway.
A lot of drivers coming down now. Weishart is in. Dustin Scruggs and Stogak, they come in at the same time. As looking at that battle, Hearn did get by Curran did get by Hearn, and now Hearn's really dropped off as they're navigating lap trucks because of that.
Munsell has slowed his truck down, at least last time by was half a second slower than Scioli, so gave up some time. Now the question is, Scioli pit this time or next time? You have to go one more to be absolutely sure you can make it.
It's at the point where you can wait for Munsell to pit and then just pit after him so he has fresher tires. There's nothing anyone behind him can do really to jump the 7.
Yeah, he's going to stay out, so he's easy good to the end of the race on one stop. So it kind of confirms what our suspicions were. And battles have mostly fizzled. Here comes Hearn, though, onto pit lane.
Yeah, we can see that's not surprising at all. We saw how much he was struggling on his tires. Dylan, that was Mason Kane who will follow him in.
AJ Roderick and Garrett Grant fighting for 8th. Been a fun battle to watch these two.
Garrett Grant's been at the front of this battle the entire night, too. Not letting anyone by him, doing a great job defending, but can't get away from any of these guys right now.
No, he's been driving out the mirror for a while tonight. But next time by, we're at the halfway point, and I would expect to see a lot of drivers, or I guess the remainder of the drivers, come to pit road this time, including our leader, Scioli.
Scioli's at the point he could probably run the fuel dry and still come out in the lead. Stennistak just hit. Waterworth's in. He had a slide. Scioli can go as long as he wants. There, he has no threat to him right now. Leads up to about 5 seconds.
Will he stay out or will he hit pit lane? He is going to hit pit lane this time, right at halfway. Maximize the tire life, and on down he will go. And I'll bet Munsell follows. He does. Travis Beckner, he will stay out another lap.
Yeah, as long as he can make it, might as well get the freshest tires to the end.
So will JT and Curhan, and Hardin's already made a pit stop, yep.
Dylan Lee, he had pit. Everyone else had pit at this point, except maybe Garrett Grant and AJ Roderick. Grant's coming in, Roderick's following him.
Very slow pit lane, and as I mentioned, very small pit stalls. 14.8 second stop for Scioli, and he's off and away. Got to watch the pit exit commitment line there. He does, and he's free and away. Nice 32.8 second lane time, which is pretty efficient.
And in doing that, he gets clear track. Nothing's ahead of him for a while. Same thing for Munsell, too. So.
Whoa. Beckner really pushing those tires, trying to maximize this in lap.
He has put a good gap. JT Poole had reeled him in after his mess up, but he's pulled back away from the 26.
And behind 26, he's got Michael Curhan, and these guys are racing. Still racing all the way back to their pit stop. And Curran's going to throw the offense on him.
Trying to force him into a mistake, not able to do anything there. It's probably a race to pit entry as Beckner pulls off the pit. And I don't see how these guys can go much further. They're going to have to come in bumper to bumper onto the pit entrance.
Oh, JT had practiced that maybe a bit more effectively than Kurhan did. Was a bit more aggressive. Knew exactly where that pit speed began. So they will come on down pit road. Now, will that extra lap do much of anything for them other than cost them some time? Jury's out on that one.
Goes on Bristol. Yep, Skyler's going to get by them easily. And next in line's Munsell, also by easily. Then Cameron Hearn is really the one we have to look at. Beckner's going to get out easily ahead of them. J2 Poole and Kurhan might be closer. It's going to be really close, actually.
I think Cameron's going to beat him. Yep, he will. And now Weishart maybe is the question mark here, but he will also get on by in the run down to turn 2. So drop Kurhan down to 7th. And the lead between Skyoli and Munsell about 4.7 seconds, so not much of a differentiator there. And now everyone's got to reset. They can kind of just fight out from here, but 4th place is going to get interesting.
That was really interesting as Hearn and Poole almost hit as Poole really drives over the curbing there as Hearn's wide sliding again. Poole's able to stay out of the rear bumper of him, and these four are going to be all over each other with differing tires.
Yeah, Weishart on the oldest, JT and Michael Kurhan on the newest. And heading up the back straightaway. Speeds here, about 165 miles an hour before they're back on the brakes. It is not slow by any stretch. 20 laps to go next time by, and there's been trouble at 5. Justin Scruggs, I think, was the primary incident here. Here's a look.
Eminem Sogak for the sliders. Here comes Scruggs. Yep, wide there. And Sogak does the same thing. I think he got scared of what was happening. Wow, Garrett Grant did a good job weaving through that to get 2 positions away.
He really did. JT Poole, he has Cameron Hearn in his sights, and he is focused.
He's going to have to go soon because Weishart's going to be holding up Kurhan for a little while, but it won't be much longer until that 24 gets by. He's trying to get aggressive. Not much he can do. He fixed his camera. If he did that under his pit stop, though, it wasn't looking good. Now we can see Ricky Bobby.
Pressure's on. Cameron Hearn looking out the mirror. JT Poole out the windshield. Kurhan and Weishart trade spots behind them. But JT, he is on edge in the seat and on the track.
He is all over Cameron Hearn, all over his bumper without hitting him. That's impressive to be able to do that. Still not able to make a move. I think we're seeing that downhill into 5. It really isn't a passing zone. You don't have the room to do that, and these drivers know that.
You can hear the revs even pick up on the back straightaway coming over the crest here. A lot more aggressive on the brakes than the 4. Leaning on the lateral load of the tire quite a bit through 8 and 9.
It's only going to get harder to defend here. Almost a tap there. I think he did tap. Hit him again. Now he's showing him, hey, I'm here, I'm faster. You got to get out of the way before it gets bad.
Yeah, that was a big one. And again, coming to this last corner, watch the curb hop here. Just drives in and bam, up and over the curb. And that is a really upsetting curbing to jump. And I'm impressed that he didn't end up crashing after that. But you see him working the wheel. He is busy behind the wheel, that thing.
And now the Kurhan's by. He's got the tire advantage, so if he doesn't make this pass on Hearn, Kurhan's going to get them both. So he's got to go. He's got to run. Looking to the driver's right. Hearn's trying to shut it down.
Fascinating battle here. Drivers driving. Downforce non-existent. Mechanical grip non-existent. You're driving on ice. Here he comes up the inside. Thinks better of it.
Yeah, that would not have gone over well. They definitely would have made contact, so he backs out of it, loses some time. Kurhan was not able to really capitalize on it at all, though.
And David Weishart's kind of fallen out of this conversation, but this is the hottest battle on the racetrack, and it is for 4th place.
It's not going anywhere either. This is going to be to the end if no one passes anyone. Battle for 2nd is somewhat close, though. Beckner's fresher tires. He's chased back down Justin Munsell.
Yeah, that will be one we'll keep our eyes on here, but so will this one.
I think every time he's going to get the run to get alongside, he just never has enough to do it. Hearn's doing a good job here defending as much as
Whoa.
he can. Sliding while doing it. Oh, big protection there. Hearn's going to miss the corner maybe.
Whoa, Hearn's way wide. Poole sees the door open. He's going to throttle up out of turn 2, side by side.
This is good stuff. He's doing everything he can. Curhan's trying to force the issue. He's back into the bumper of Hearn. Just Cameron Hearn's giving him no lane.
Look at him shaking that wheel. Here he comes to the inside. What a battle.
Oh, he's going to force it. Driver's right. I think he's going to try it. Oh, he's going to back out again. I think Hearn's going to... Oh, I thought he was going to miss the corner. This is incredible.
This is road racing at its best. Take away all the aero, take away all the grip, take away the braking, and just wrestle a 3,500-pound beast around a 2.5-mile track.
And these guys are on top of each other. Vector is on Munsell now, so that battle is good, but you got a three-truck battle behind them.
And Curhan watching all of it out the windshield, waiting for these two to come together.
He's waiting for a lane himself. If JT Poole gets crossed up and messed up by Hearn, Curhan's going to take advantage of it. We'll see if he's able to do that before the 26 can get by.
Oh, a really good run there for the 26 of Poole. Set that up nicely, but staying in line, waiting for a better opportunity.
Being very respectful of Cameron Hearn, because Hearn is making it really hard on him. He's going to get to the right of Hearn here. It's going to be tough to do, though, around the outside.
Yeah, this is a tough turn to do it, but he's going to give it a try. Down the hill, offline, tucks back in to chop off Cameron or Michael Curhan. Big rear tire slide there. Don't use up your stuff. Whoa.
I don't think you get better than this. This is incredible, but he's running out of time because Curhan, he's going to find a way by if JT Poole can.
Watch his smile. He's having a blast right now, but he knows he's burning up his tires too, so you can't do it forever. Up the inside of 5B, that's a huge send for JT Poole. Side by side, they almost touch, but he can't complete it. And now here comes Curhan.
Oh, he's there. He's on the bumper. Poole's shutting it off, though. Curhan lifts. I'm surprised he lifted. He gave JT Poole a big break there.
That was wild. And a momentary break for Cameron Hearn.
Now it's Curhan and Poole because Hearn's going to have some breathing room, like you said. He's going to bring Weishart a little bit closer.
JT's overdriving a touch now. He's got those tires angry.
He's probably a little upset himself because he just cannot find a way past that Ford truck. Beckner's battle has, I wouldn't say it's subsided, but Beckner did lose some ground to the 6.
Yeah, this is still a volatile fight as well. Maybe not, well, that time Beckner reeled him in to touch. Well, let's go back to this one because I think this is where the action's going to be. Cameron Hearn's struggling a little bit, but he's been able to struggle in a way that doesn't leave him vulnerable.
Big crash out of 5. Ricky Harden's crash.
Whoa, 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 look out right in front of Munsell.
Right in front of him. Oh, it's going to be right in front of the other battle, too. He's going to get it back going until then.
Oh, he came together with Bourne.
Wow.
It's kind of a slow, awkward get-together here.
Skyley's going through him, too. I heard Skyley was upset. I don't think he was upset they weren't letting him by.
Yeah,
I don't think he expected Bourne to get to his left.
Definitely
now he's
not.
letting bad time to let the leaders by.
Oh, this is awkward for Poole on the outside.
Oh, he hit him.
Oh.
He's going to get by him. That was close, though. Oh, Harden's going to give it back to him.
Man.
That was out of
Gloves
order,
off.
I think. Yeah. Gloves off, getting lapped. That's surprising. That's going to lose Curhan a lot of time to both of them.
Next time by, 15 laps to go. Battle's still raging all over the track. How about this one? Garrett Grant and Dustin Scruggs. This is for 10th.
Garrett Grant once again kind of leading the line here as Scruggs, Roderick, and Anna Sogak. Even Brett Sawyer Jr. kind of closing in on all of these guys. They're still all chasing Greg Mitchell. He pit early. We talked about it was kind of a tough situation to pit early, but he does still have a decent gap for that 9th position for the time being. But Grant is chasing him down to maybe half a second per lap.
Munsell to the inside of Dylan Lee. Maybe temporarily held up. Beckner going to get some slipstream.
All right, Hearn had a big slide into 5 there, so all the time he did have on Poole kind of lost it there as these two are going to go side by side, not for position. waiting for Dylan Lee to maybe lift, as he finally did there. This battle is now the closest one on track.
Yeah, it's very tight. Beckner has taken pretty good care of his tires tonight, actually. And he's excelled here, running for second place, having this battle inside the top 5.
He has the lap fresher tires than Munsell and even Scioli, but obviously Scioli not in the question, 7 seconds up the road.
All right, Hearn and Poole back at it.
And Curhan.
Waiting in the wings. Whoa, JT real sideways into one.
As far as this battle goes, I would put my money on Curhan to take them both. I think he'll have the advantage by the time we get even 5 laps from now, just tire-wise. I think he's not having to push as much as these two. He's just able to follow and kind of smile and wave at this battle.
Good 3-truck battle for 4th place. And it just continues. Lap after lap, they're slipping and sliding. I'm actually surprised. Whoa, big defense there from Poole onto Curhan. I'm just surprised Weishart hasn't been able to keep better pace with this, but just unable to push and involve himself in this battle for 4th.
Yeah, he hit maybe about 3 laps before Curhan did, so tires are definitely struggling right now. As Mason Kane hit 2 laps after him, he's closing back in on the 29, so that could be a battle to the end.
Up the back straightaway. Curhan closing in on JT Poole again. Curhan's been pretty patient with these two.
See how much JT Poole's able to close in the final corner, especially. Curhan's also able to close then even more than that.
And there's always, you can always pocket that last corner dive, but you are going to crash. It's just a matter of who comes out the other side.
It's not going to work out in your favor or the other guy's favor. So
No.
if you want to make an enemy, it's a great corner. But I don't think you want to do that. We're getting close to playoff time. Not to mention, Chuck Race used to be in the playoffs at one point. It seems like he's losing the advantage he had. He's not able to stay on turns or bumper as well as he was. Now Curhan's on the offensive.
Yeah, he's just burning up those rears a bit too much. And it's allowing Curhan to close the gap. But Poole, on entry, he's able to use the grip. Hearn, big slide. Here's an opportunity.
Oh, and now he bumped him a little bit there. He's right on his right rear corner panel. This could be the move.
On the quarter panel now, up the hill. Hearn tried to close the door, but can't. Side by side for 4th, up the back straightaway here at Moseport.
Giving him no room, put him on the grass, but if he's going to make the move, it's here. I don't know how much Hearn can really do from this spot. He's going to put him on the curb. They're going to bang doors through turn 8.
Side by side. Hearn's got the preferred line now for the left-hander at 9. But Poole's got overlap, and he's going to take the advantage to the final corner, but can he keep the grip underneath him? Hearn crosses him over, but can't get to him. Poole defends excellently on corner exit and grabs the spot away.
And that was a pass about 5 laps. It was like 8 laps in the making. He did a good job bravely keeping it to the right of Hearn up the straightaway even when he was getting no groove to work with. Really good job.
Now Curhan's turn. Was the 4 just the cork in the bottle here, or are both of them faster than the 4?
One way to find out, but Curhan's not really on the bumper of Hearn. Hearn's staying with JT Poole a little bit here. Not letting him get too far away.
JT's advantage was in the braking zones, but corner exit, Hearn was doing pretty well. That's why he was able to defend for so long.
Hearn, kind of the same thing there. He really didn't get a good entrance. Stay with the 26, as we're kind of spaced apart there, as Curhan not able to stay with the 4 just as well. So I think Curhan was benefiting from the battle. We'll have to see the lap before we can say that, as Beckner's fallen off the Munsell a little bit. They were bumper to bumper, not quite anymore. And Garrett Grant, Dustin Scruggs are still right on top of one another, as this battle not quite over yet as Tom Bourne lets him by.
Far from over. Cameron has not been dispatched. He took a swipe with a sword, but he didn't finish the kill.
We'll see if...
Sorry, I was going to say, and we are running out of laps, too.
That too, yeah. I almost forgot that it was 45. I was thinking 40, but yeah, we are still running out of laps. Because I am surprised. I thought JT would kind of get away with how long he was hounding the 4, but it's still right there just in case Poole makes a mistake.
I don't know if it's. I just think it's one of those things where if you're the driver that's being hunted, you're the one that's slower. It just feels like that. That any trailing driver has the advantage because he's able to keep pressure on the driver ahead. And Hearn is back in a preferred position if that's the case. I like Poole's line a little better through 5, though.
Yeah, I think it's a little better, especially for entry, as he lost a little bit there, Hearn did, just because of the entry. It's really, like we're talking about, that's really, even when he's not behind the 4, he's making such a big difference on the way he's getting into a braking zone.
Well,
it's not allowing Hearn to really do anything.
No, and the other thing is JT is treating 5A and 5B like one continuous corner, and that's really efficient from a driving perspective. You're not loading up the truck and then unloading it and loading it again like perhaps the 4 of Cameron Hearn is, kind of treating them like 2 separate corners with a throttle up in between. If you do it right, you don't actually throttle up mid-corner. You're just a slow trail brake into 5B. So it seems like that's what JT is doing, and it's been just slightly more effective so far. But this 3-horse battle for 4th has been excellent so far.
It's funny because it's been a 3-car battle, 3-truck battle, but Kurhan hasn't moved as they both slid too deep into turn 2, and now Hearn's back. Look out.
All 3 Ford F-150s. Cameron dives into 3. Good exit for the 26. He slipped, but so did the 4.
Oh, man, he slipped big time. Here comes Kurhan, and Hearn's just going to let him by.
All right. New assassin with the sniper up on the roof here.
Oh, Poole went wide. He's going to slide again, and Kurhan's going to be right there now.
Now the run up the straightaway. Wow, Poole's out of control.
Kurhan was out of control just trying to get the drivers right. All that work Poole put in to get that 4th position, it's all going to go away here. Kurhan takes advantage and gets right back by.
Yeah, that made that one look easy, but now JT goes right from smiling right back to focus face. He is getting back to it.
You can see how hard he's driving. His camera's changed every time we've cut to him.
He's been trying to adjust it for us, but he has been focused on the task at hand as of late. Kurhan, a little slidey. 10 laps to go.
That battle, we'll see if it subsides now as the battle's, the order is completely different. Poole's looking like he's struggling out of the corners compared to the 24. That battle is kind of subsiding. Weishart's still getting reeled in by Mason Kane. Not quite a battle yet. Muntz was pulled away from Beckner.
We've effectively inverted this fight. It was JT in the middle, Kurhan trailing and Hearn leading, but they've swapped the nose and tail of that trio.
Bad news for just Anna Sogak fans. Looks like his internet finally gave out. He was running 14th. That is a shame.
Well, these 3 have been the show the last 15 laps or so. Really ever since the pit stop. And they will continue to be. Cameron Hearn throttles up, and JT and Cameron are back at it again, and Kurhan is gone.
Yeah, he's got to check out from this battle. The only issue with this, he's not going to have anything else to gain, as those 2 go side by side in the 8 possibly. It's already another 13 seconds to Beckner as they're going to get door to door again through turn 8. Ooh, great defending. Poole tried. He did shut off the crossover. Hearn looks like he has the advantage now.
Yeah, Hearn a little bit quicker at the moment. How much of the rear tires slid on the 26? Is it too much to cling to? No other battles at the moment are this hot except for this one. Brad Slaughter Jr. and Dustin Scruggs.
Yeah, Scruggs was right behind Roderick, but fell off at the end of that sector, and now Slaughter's trying to get the 12th position away. Actually, Roderick had passed Scruggs, excuse me. Scruggs is the one falling back. Slaughter's the one on the offensive. I'm kind of surprised because Slaughter was one of the earlier stops. He was going to really hit him there.
That was a little aggressive. These 2 are still throwing down the gauntlet here for position. This is for 12th. And right back to JT and Cameron Hearn.
So their pace in 5 is so much slower now than it was when they were initially battling. But you can see Poole still just a little better in that part of the track. You see, he really opened up the gap.
Yeah, that was an excellent corner. for JT. Eric Wineland has had more problems, and this has just been a night to forget for the 21. This is turn 2.
He slid the rear there and never recovered, and you're going that fast into the grass, it's over. You can see, hard hit there. He was trying to, front bumper just falls off. He was trying to throttle up out of it, and he wasn't able to.
Oh, and going to go off again at 5. Just one thing after the other.
You definitely can't wait for IRP, I bet.
Get your elbows out with that new damage model as well at the short tracks.
Yeah, you might see more front bumpers fall off. They'll definitely be used, that's for sure. These two just will not quit. Now Hearn's getting the rear of JT Poole very squirrely.
Oh, JT sideways. Can he save it this time?
Wow.
Huge drift for the 26, and he will give the spot back to the number 4.
It's got to be frustrating. He used all of it up to get one position, ends up losing one, really. Ends up losing 2. But in the grand scheme of things, he's back 1 after that. Now Hearn's sliding as well. Both of these drivers drove the rears off it.
Well, they're having an excellent scrap. They're going to enjoy talking about this one for a long time to come, but unfortunately, it's all just for 5th place, as James Scioli has quietly led the huge majority of this race. We've had
excuse me, Dustin Scruggs just got spun by Brad Slaughter a little bit there. Kind of saw that coming, as they'll get back away from that.
Ooh, Brad just got in there really hot. Yeah, he tried everything to not do it, but he did it.
Scruggs left. I'm kind of surprised by that. He didn't even have any damage. That was for 12th, and he was still going to be 13th. He will call it a night on that, though. Probably just not happy with how the racing was there.
Yeah. Race fans, be sure to check out simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And James Scioli has led all night long in that Rick's Hot Sauce South Beach heat truck. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings.
Now all of a sudden, this is the closest battle on the track. Grant and Roderick for a top 10.
Yeah, this is a pretty good fight. 42 versus 56. These drivers have went at it before in the race, but they're kind of reigniting their scrap.
Surprised, because we were kind of questioning Greg Mitchell pitting early. He pit from 12th position. He's still 9th and relatively on his own. Greg Grant really hasn't been catching him fast enough to make a difference in the last 6 laps here, so could end up working if he's good on fuel.
So the battles up front have begun to fizzle, and this is your best fight on the racetrack. In the last handful of laps, the last 10 or so, we have lost 5 drivers to self-inflicted incidents. Scruggs, Wineland, Ware, and Wineland's still on track, so is Ware, but they're a couple of laps down. And
Tom Bourne at the end of this straightaway almost went straight on.
Yeah, well, Bourne has had another like-to-forget day.
Just like last week. He did this last week, I believe, in the Xfinity race. He had no front bumper for like half of it. He was still top 15 most of the night. That's what he's doing tonight.
Just, well, you got to minimize your bad nights, and by staying out there and running, it's not any fun, but you're salvaging points from a dozen other drivers that have had worse nights than you.
Funny enough, the driver he came out in front of is pretty hard, and that is for a position. So he does have to be careful of that.
Oh, Grant, Roderick starting to play the game here, diving down into turn 2 a little harder. What is it with Fizika's trucks on defense tonight?
Yeah, it's really all they've been specializing in it for sure. And I think Garrett Grant's kind of been the best at it, as a matter of fact. It's only been for 9th and 10th, but he's done such a good job keeping trucks behind him tonight. That is why he's still in the top 10.
Still clinging to the spot. Recording another top 10 in the books. That will matter. That will factor in. But all out front, James Scioli by nearly 7 seconds. And every time you go to a road course, just like he did last night, you have to count in James Scioli. And when we head back to Road America on Thursday night, who are you going to pick? James Scioli. You just can't ever count him out at a road course.
Not to mention when we come back to Road America on Thursday nights, it's not like he already has 7 wins in that series this season. So that series is not even a road course. Everything is dominated, so even harder to bet against him in 2 nights.
Yeah. Last couple laps are taking a while to get through, though. The pace has slowed down a lot. Most of the field down into the 26s for lap times. Struggling to keep grip on a hot racetrack. JT Poole, Mason Kane. JT now on heavy defense.
You can tell he used everything trying to get by Hearn, and he used too much of it. Clearly, he was 2 seconds slower than Mason Kane last time by. That was a chop. That was close.
Yeah, Kane didn't really have overlap, but he threw it down there expecting to get some. And I think JT's in trouble.
He might lose a position to Weishart at this rate. He is really slowed down, and down to the inside turn 1.
Whoa.
That is tight, but Kane's able to keep it under him, but not enough overlap to really stay.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just tank slapping all over the place. He has no rear grip right now. He is hard at work, and Kane almost drops a tire at 2.
Wow, yeah, this is probably the worst time to have to pass someone when they have no rear tire left and are just tank slapping. He's sliding again. He has nothing to defend with. Weishart is definitely going to get this position, I think.
Yeah, so JT was fighting for a top 5 spot. What could have been 4th, and he might end up 8th. See him just yawing that truck out sideways. It's out of control.
Oh my gosh.
Weishart focused, smooth. Here he comes. Nothing JT can do about this. Just gets motored on by.
Literally can't even go full throttle up straight away until about halfway through. Poole and Kane are jawing back and forth. I'm not sure about what, but the battle right now is for this 7th position.
Weishart's got to be careful with JT with so low grip on the inside. You don't want to end up getting crashed. JT defends with sheer might, just out of control. It's just a matter of time, and I think David should be pretty patient with this one.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of patience with how slow the 26 is right now with no rear tire. I wouldn't be surprised if the tires are reading 0%. He's used up that much of it. This is probably the worst we've seen it, but Poole's trying his best here.
Watch this. Dangerous for Poole if he overshoots this. Keeps it on course.
Wow, I can't believe he's stayed ahead of him this long. And this is a corner he's been sliding through the last few laps. You can see he's still sliding.
And he's making Weishart have to work for it pretty hard as well, but this time David will now have some overlap. If he can keep it, he will have it. JT throttles up though, and again, the maintenance defense has been excellent.
Oh, that might have been too far. I don't know how he made that work.
He's just driving the wheels off it at this point, Connor, and literally.
Yes, quite literally. Grant and Roderick aren't doing anything nearly like this. JT Poole saying on the radio he thinks he broke a sway bar. With the way it's going back and forth, maybe he did, but that is how much rear tire stability, how much saving tires matter here. You cannot go full out for the first maybe 10 laps of the run and think you're going to make it to the end just fine. This is what can happen if you overstimulate them.
Yeah, he's got nothing now. Back to 8th place for JT Poole, and thankfully that should be as far as he falls, provided he keeps it on the road. Yeah, so where does that leave Scioli? About halfway through the second to last lap.
He's still in the 23-second bracket mostly. 23 nines, 24 flats. He's been very, very consistent.
That's pretty impressive stuff. Most of the field is about 4 seconds off their best pace. Maybe 3, but Scioli only 2.
Grant are still pretty close, but I don't know if Roderick has enough to get by the 42 before this race ends, and they won't get the Greg Mitchell. So really good strategy by the 2 here tonight.
Well, Scioli's got 3 wins on the season. One of them at Charlotte, one of them at Darlington. The other was at Watkins Glen. the only other road course here on the season, and all he has to do is make it another 2.4 miles, and he'll pick up his 4th win of the season and another win on a road course.
It seems like everything after once we get to the white flag lap, seems like everything pretty much calms down. So many battles that were so strong through the long run here on this final tire stint just subsided. Grant and Roderick is really the closest battle on track.
Final time through the downhill for the 7 of James Scioli. Through 5A, 5B, then 5C. And last time up the back straightaway. And other than Beckner's assault on him in the first dozen laps or so, Scioli has been uncontested.
We saw how hard it's been to pass today. If he went wide in 5, that was his only mistake of the night. If Beckner got by him, could have been a different race, but he was able to kind of completely keep his cool, as he always does at these road courses. He kept his cool, was able to keep it on track and keep it in the lead, most importantly.
Well, James Scioli in the number 7 Rick's Hot Sauce truck. Every time you head to a road course, you look for that road bell to ring. James Scioli, the road course king, wins another one. Mossport, race 4. His 4th win of the season, and Scioli gets it done. Dustin Munsell, a solid, well-earned 2nd place.
Yeah, really solid 2nd place.
Travis Beckner 3rd. Michael Curhan fought through that fight with Hearn and JT Poole to finish in 4th, and then Cameron Hearn, outlasting an assault from JT Poole, will come home in 5th place, with Mason Kane quickly approaching, but not quickly enough.
A really solid charge by Kane. He kind of came out of nowhere, almost got top 5. So really strong run for the 31. Wisehart slides to 7th. JT Poole still drifting out of the final quarter, but battle is still closest for this 10th position. Roderick, I don't think, has enough here.
Oh, he
really charged it, though.
Drove in really deep for 10th place. 2 corners left, 9 and 10. Swing left, swing right. Roderick on Garrett Grant. Opens the door. Here he comes. This is that battle we were waiting for. Man. And there, they're going to run into each other. And Roderick gets turned.
Brett Slaughter's going to get them both. Spun Grant out.
Well, there's the.
That was what we were looking for in that final corner chaos. Didn't think it would be for 10.
Look at Roderick reversing.
Is he going to get him? Ricky Hard's trying to push him across. Yeah, we got our chaos.
Oh, we got it. We got it all right.
We saw that happening. When we saw his entrance in the turn 8, we saw that coming.
Oh, we saw it coming from a long ways away. And
that was never going to work.
No, but 42 just said thanks for that, and then pow.
That's how he gets rewarded.
And Brad Slaughter Jr. picks up 10th place after all that.
That was the greatest finish for 10th place ever.
Greatest maybe to some, but let's have a look at the race results here for Mossport, round number 10 of the Area Truck Series season. James Scioli gets it done. 4th win on the season, and Justin Munsell, Travis Beckner, the rest of your podium. Cameron Hearn again, well-earned 5th spot. Same with Michael Curhan in 4th. JT Poole fought all he could, Connor, but disappointing 8th for the 26.
Definitely going to be disappointing. If he could kept the rear tires on it, he might have been able to come away with a top 5 or at least a top 6, but drove the tires off it. Wisehart just picked too early to make a difference. Greg Mitchell with an early pit stop, the undercut, surprising to us, kind of worked, got him to top 10, and obviously for that last lap chaos, Brad Slaughter Jr. Snuck a top 10 out of there.
Well, Garrett Grant and AJ Roderick fought hard for 10th, and nobody won. 11th for the 42 and 12th for the 56. Senesac Bourne suffers through a terrible night, but will grab a 14th. All things considered, not that bad. Then Ricky Harden, Eric Wineland, Danny Ware, Scruggs, Anna Sogak, and Dylan Lee. And that's where the troubles really started for the rest of this field here, Connor. Lots of out and damaged for the rest of the runners.
Shane Theory and Philip York, they didn't even make it a lap. Elwood, who was kind of the biggest surprise there, so fast, the qualified runner-up to Scioli, but just like the 83, just had trouble from the very beginning, and the crash into turn 8 was pretty much sealed the deal. Obviously, Finch and Stafford, Waterworth, didn't talk about them a lot. They had early troubles too.
Well, one of the drivers that finished it well and put some pressure on Scioli early, but ended up on the podium inside the top 5. Travis Beckner brings the 28 truck home in 3rd. Travis, some strong pace early, but couldn't keep it up with Scioli. But a top 5, not a bad run tonight, I'd say.
Yeah,
just too many mistakes there at the beginning of the race. Then after that, I couldn't get it back going, and then I got stuck behind the 6 car there for a while trying to save tire, but it ended up burning up my tires. Dirty air was so bad, just couldn't get it going after I slid off the track when I wheel hopped it going into the double right-hander.
Seemed like tonight the track temperature was a factor, just not a lot of grip in general. How did you manage your rear tires? You got a tendency to be really aggressive behind the wheel, but tonight you kept your pace pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, right there, I was sliding through turn 2. I was sliding everywhere. Just wasn't a rear wheel slide; it was a 4-wheel slide, and just couldn't do anything. Either way, race was still fun. Just wish I could have done a little bit more. And yeah.
Well, Travis Beckner home in 3rd place, the number 28 Calusa Pines Toyota. And Travis, congratulations. Not a bad run. We go to IRP next week.
Yep. And before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Calusa Pines Landscaping, Thompson Pipe Group, Rick's Hot Sauce, Celsius, Area iRacing.shop, Black Buffalo, Holston River Machines, BG Creative, Huckett Films, everybody at Miller Race, and y'all taking the time out of your day to come do this, and all my family that's watching tonight.
Thanks, Travis. P3 for the 28. We'll see you next week.
See you.
And 2nd place tonight, a strong run for Justin Munsell. Not quite enough pace to run Scioli back down, but not a bad night at all. A P2, Justin, so congratulations on that. What'd you need to run down that 7?
Probably just a little bit extra horsepower, honestly. Maybe give me some more new tires midway through the run. I mean, what can you say? It's basically the Scioli show and everybody else. We call it the Scioli Invitational, right? I'm proud of the effort today. I put some effort in this week practicing for this track, and it really clicked with my driving style. So I figured I had a good shot at not just getting a podium, but having a shot at, challenging Scioli. The problem is that, when you make 2 mistakes, that's 2 less, or that's 2 more than what he makes. So you can't really make those mistakes and expect to win. But, with all things said and considered, I'll take a P2, especially with the point standings being the way they are. Try to make that run to get the playoff spot. So hopefully in these next 2 races, we can continue to close that gap and maybe get a lucky win at Talladega or something. So we'll see.
Justin Munsell 2nd tonight in the number 6. Justin, congrats. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
James Scioli, 4th win of the season in the trucks. And again, road races are kind of your thing. And Road Ringer, you're the king of the road courses so far this season. Swept him in the truck series. You had some pressure early, but after that, it was home free. Take us through your night and driving away from the field.
Yeah, I just needed to get through the first couple laps clean. Going on green's tough in these things. You never know what's going to happen behind you, what could snowball and end up getting into you. And I got a little bit loose and in turn 1 and just wanted to make sure that I was clear of Allen, and luckily I was and could kind of sail off there for a while. But us top 3, Munsell and Beckner, I mean, they're really good road racers too. When we all got clean laps, I felt like we were all really similar on lap times. It's so hard to nail this lap. This track's a lot of fun. It's really unique. I know we all made pretty big mistakes in that like uphill hairpin right. I mean, it's so unique, so fun to drive. So just all about limited mistakes and trying to keep the rear tires on it. It was a tough setup to drive, but I had a lot of fun.
Well, James, congratulations. Picking up another one at the road courses. It's been your week so far. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week. IRP next up on the schedule for the trucks.
Thanks, guys. Huge shout out to you guys in the broadcast booth for everything you guys do, capturing these races, and then the admins as well. We definitely couldn't do it without them, so I appreciate them for taking their time out of their schedules to let us do this. And Coach Scioli, I've been saying it a lot this year, still get you $7 off at rickshotsauce.com. Thanks to Daniels Candles, Butt Kicker, Chris Sports Cards, and Matco Tools, all for being on the truck. And DWR has been killing it this year, so hopefully we can keep it going.
James Scioli, your winner from Most Sport. Thanks, James.
Thanks, guys.
Kind of wrapping things up from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. This track is great. We saw some epic battles tonight. And for the 3 drivers, JT Poole, Cameron Hearn, and Michael Curhan, They are going to get some calls from Hollywood because that was a heck of a show.
Yeah, that was incredible stuff, no doubt about it. That was probably the greatest battle of the season on road courses in any series. We'll see what we get Thursday night, though. Back to Road America, the Xfinity Series, and another chance for James Skyler to sweep another week of racing, just like he did when all 3 series went to the Glen. Yeah, those 3 battling for 4th was entertaining, but there's no betting against Skyler when it comes to a road course. I believe that's his 13th win of the season across all 3 series. He can't be stopped right now. He could literally win all 3 championships the way he's driving right now. It is insane how consistent he is and how fast he is. Consistency and speed. You put those 2 together, it's the most unbeatable driver, and that's what he's been this season.
He has been unstoppable in pretty much everything, everywhere, but especially in the Florida State Builders Pro Series, where we're headed to Road America, the National Park of Speed tomorrow. It is the Jurassic Park of motorsport. What monster will come out on top tomorrow? We'll see you there. No, not tomorrow. Thursday night, we'll see you there. Kyle Heyer with Connor Horn bringing to the action. We'll see you Thursday night.